Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan of Motor City Madmouth. In case you missed the Motor City Madmouth show, I had Atlanta Falcons broadcaster Steve Holman Sr. on with me. Had a good conversation for about an hour and a few minutes. So, with that said, here we are, the evening Sports Exchange. And over to my right, Pensman Sports. Welcome back, Pensman. Okay, I guess
Thanks for having me.
I thought he was going to act like Charlie Chapman and do a silent movie for us. Okay. All right. The Edlings knows Charlie Chapman, even though Pensman, where you at? You with me? Is anybody home?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, I'm right
Okay.
here. So thanks for having
Just
me.
making sure. Oh, you're disguising yourself in a football stadium. I don't know who's
That's
playing
right.
tonight.
I'm all pumped up for football. Let's go.
There you go. All right. There we go. We got him animated. Good stuff. I'm doing good already. Candy Edling, welcome back.
Well, I guess I'm getting ready for the country club because I'm sitting in the country club chair. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
welcome. Thank you, Scott, for having me back.
Get
You're
the golf
welcome.
clubs ready.
And I'm reunited with Willie Upton. Welcome back to Willie the Man.
Well, I am so happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Scooter, my Scooter. What's going on, man?
Scooter. You know where I got that name from him? Well, he brought it up. I used to play hockey, and they used to call me Scooter another lifetime ago. Now, who know, I'm not that fast enough. Who knows what they call me? Anything but the Roadrunner. And JB Ellis sent us his responses through text message. He should be on next week. George Eichhorn's back.
Hello, good evening.
And Jacob, Mr. Opinion, our version.
No, it'd be Mr. Fact.
It'd
be Mr. Fact. I have to say that part is like the opinion part. I have to go get really, really small spectacles and go like this the whole time.
Oh, there you go. Well, I like to do different things with this show. The title indicates as such. So instead of going to, what do we call it? What was it? That show Candy likes to talk about. I'm trying to remember that sandbag where you throw the sandbag and try to hit it in there. Oh, well, whatever. I'm trying.
It's definitely not the pundit's pundit.
Cornhole.
What is it called? Cornhole. That's it. Thanks, George. You actually scored a brownie point for night, so I didn't have to pull my hair out. Then again, there aren't a whole lot of them to pull out anyways. But now we're going to go with pickleball.
You got beard hair.
That's true. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about pickleball tonight, and what better way to do it than this? Starting off with pickleball. Hey, I'm willing to do anything, and why not? So we'll get her going with Andre Agassi. Made his pickleball debut with Anna Lee Waters at the U.S. Open and mixed doubles at U.S. Open Championships on April the 30th. Waters invited Agassi because of their aggressive play styles. Agassi signed actually with Jewel and is a player and has his own line of paddles. I'll tell you what, Willie, what do you think of Andre Agassi diving into pickleball arena?
Well, if he hits the ball as hard as he did when he played tennis, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think I saw a serve from him. I think it may have been either Roland Garros? Yeah, Roland Garros or in Wimbledon. It was either clay or the grass. And I looked at the TV just now, and the clay is still smoking.
Really? No
yeah.
kidding. You imagine Andre Agassi in pickleball. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Steffi Graf says, you know what? I'm going to leave that one to you, Andre. What do you think, George?
Well, I think pickleball's been raising its stature for years now. I'm not surprised. Agassi was a great player. I liked him in tennis. He always had fun on the court. He was, serious, but he had fun. I think he'll do well in pickleball. There's another fella too by the name of JD Martinez that is really into pickleball, but that's for another day. But no, Agassi is a good guy. It doesn't surprise me too much, but Willie, he can't hit it that hard because remember the courts are smaller in pickleball.
Yeah, well,
it takes a little. I'm just saying, it takes more finesse.
Yes, well, I was just gonna say that he can still hit it as hard.
Yeah,
it just won't have as much sting because of the distance.
Yeah,
I just hope it doesn't hit anybody.
Yeah,
they're basically ping. They're basically T-balls, so it's like it's not going to hurt as bad as a tennis ball.
Right.
So let me ask you, Jacob, since we're on you anyway, I like the idea of Andre Agassi playing pickleball.
He's got bad knees. And Jack Sock, the Jack Sock was a tennis player for years. You know, it's Grand Slam. He did some Grand Slam semifinals. Something a good player, but his back went out. So I mean, you get this game keeps you in tennis without playing tennis. People get when your knees go bad and your back goes bad, you can't move around anymore. And here's the thing, it was like Jimmy Connors went like 5-6 years without hitting one because he had to have a hip surgery. If he would have had pickleball back in the time, he could have kept up the strokes until he had his hip replacement. So this is going to be this is the ability to be able to keep up your tennis strokes and be able to have a shorter court and be able to do that and save your knees, save your back, all that stuff. And in all honesty, the reason tennis players can't stand pickleball is because the click, clack, click, clack, clack, click. You know, they hate that, but you just have to tune it out. And it's going to get the reason it's going to get bigger is because people. I mean, I'm 46 years old. I can say this part. I'm still playing good tennis, but one day you might wake up and your hips a little bit rough, and that's it. You know what I mean? So you want something else to do, and you want to keep your exercise up. So I always joke in the first place. I used to joke that I'm going to use my first set of hips for tennis and the second for golf, but now it might be for pickleball.
Well, Candy's got that phone over her head. So what are you thinking, Candace?
I loved watching Agassi play tennis. He's a character on the court. I can't imagine him teaming up. Like, he just turned 55 years old. He teamed up with 18-year-old Anna Lee Waters to defeat a pair of young teens. He's an 8-time Grand Slam champion who retired from professional tennis back in 2006. Pickleball, let's face it, it's a mix of tennis and ping pong, and it's quickly rose to more than 13 million players in the United States in just a few years. Like, it's exploded. It's the new latest hot thing to be doing. It's a form of exercising without exercising. Like, you know, and I think, yes, Jacob, your knees, I think some ankles too. You don't roll as many ankles because you're not moving around. It's not as big of a court, so you're not running around as much from one end to the other end. It's a faster paced game, though. You got to have quick reflexes. That's the one thing I would say. And it really helps with hand-eye coordination. And it keeps people on their toes. And hey, if Andre Agassi is playing when he's 55 years old, great. Kudos to him. I can honestly say, back in my days when I lived in Wisconsin and when I was playing tennis, one of the ladies I played softball with, her mother-in-law was playing tennis at the age of 94 years old.
Yikes.
So you can do it. Set your mind to it.
Hey, George, you'll be doing that.
Yeah, sure. Uncle George.
Yeah.
Well, the grave.
Hi, JD Wyatt. Thanks for being on. Let me just say this. One of my best friends broke both of his wrists doing it. That was the end of my pickleball career, and he was living in LA at the time. So I don't need any more injuries to my repertoire. But when he broke both wrists, mind you,
wow,
that was it. You know, he's in my age range, and I'll leave it at that.
So can I put my other hat on?
What's that?
I have to put the JD hat on.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Borrow Willie's hat to do that.
There you go. Yeah.
He thinks it's great that Andre Agassi is playing pickleball. It's going to bring sports and more people to the sport. Everyone seems to love it, and his style of tennis will translate naturally into the pickleball world. Think it will be a great asset to grow the game.
There you go. So now
let me tell you this real quickly, though, Candy. I love they beat the teenagers like that because no one from those teenagers are going to know who the heck Andre Agassi is. He was 30. He was retired by the time they were born. And I love the idea because you're going to have these kids, and this happens in tennis too. And I've beaten plenty of younger ones this way. They think, oh, he's old, he's got gray, I'm just going to run him off. And then it is style, it is angles, it's all that stuff. And then they're running the kids around. I love when they do it. And it's like, and I'll bring this up, Willie. I was bringing up Larry Bird earlier. I'm just saying this. When his back went out, he was just moving 4 inches a game, and yet he's hitting 40 points. Younger athletes don't understand what the age know.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I say. And it's like, and I had to understand that because I got my butt kicked by 60-year-olds many times.
Okay. So Candy's wearing 2 hats. What hat you wearing, Pensman, other than the, what do we call it, the cornhole hat?
You forgot one name, George, and that's TJ Watt plays pickleball too. So he played. Yeah, oh yeah, he's big in that. So that brings that. So Andre Agassi, that's a good hobby. Hopefully that brings more ratings because of that. Andre Agassi was a great tennis player. Doesn't matter what court he played. If he plays he had a lot of grand slams. Really good player. We'll see how hard he hits the pickleball. We'll see, but it's good for the sport, and the ratings are rising. Hopefully, it'll go national now. We'll see.
Okay, very good. Glad everybody got a shot at this one. All right, well, let's go back a little. 25 years in time. Can you believe it's been 25 years since Bill Belichick drafted Tom Brady with the 199th pick out of Michigan? 199. All right, Pensman, what are your thoughts about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady 25 years later? And ironically, before you answer this question, Belichick is in college and Tom Brady is obviously announcing. Forget that. It's just but 25 years ago, it happened.
I remember that draft, and nobody knew about Tom Brady. He was small and scrawny, and he couldn't. His 40-yard dash was horrible, but like 25 years ago, the quarterback sat. Hear that, everybody? The quarterback sat. They didn't come back and play right away. So he got to learn from Bledsoe, and when Bledsoe got hurt, that's when Tom Brady came in, and, well, the rest is history. So, but I remember that draft, and everybody thought he was going to be a 3rd, 4th rounder, but he ended up being a sixth round pick, 199. So it's a good pick for the Belichick and the Bradys. That turned out well for him. So we'll see what happens in the future with the late rounders.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Willie.
Well, being as the fact that I just said that I hate all Boston sports, when I saw this on your outline, I said, do I really have to talk about this? Because this is going to make me think back to the stupid Tuck game where everybody in the world
knows. If I have to, you have to.
I don't care about that. And Pence, he asked me, so you need to hush.
I know.
You know what? Hey, Penman. Now you heard it from him, not me. Okay.
I know. Go ahead.
I know.
But no,
you
but
don't know by now. I'll make sure you don't Wednesday. Okay.
But in all seriousness, I mean, I think as we get older, at least for me anyway, the older I get, the more appreciative I become of things that we probably will never see again. And Tom Brady is one of those things, or one of those people, or whatever. Bill Belichick, not as much. I actually found myself rooting for Tom Brady his last couple years in Tampa Bay. Maybe because they played against the Kansas City Chiefs, who to me is the team that I hate more than any other team in the NFL aside from the Dallas Cowboys. So it's it just, can you believe it's a quarter of a century? And in that span, they went to 10 Super Bowls. How wild is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, surreal, isn't it? Surreal. Okay, we'll transition over Eichhorn since, and I hate to say this, I have other Boston topic, and now that I know you're coming on, I'll make sure I don't put them on when you're on. But
that's when you do put them on.
Yeah.
When he's on.
And let me tell you, Willie's a jack of all trades, and he'll tell you about it when he lets everybody know what he does. So let me tell you, he's one of the most respected people I've met in my 45 years in the journalism business, and he scores points every time he calls me a scooter, because it reminds me of my days when I can move around like a hockey player. once upon a time. So go ahead, George.
Well,
You're the best, Willie. You know that. That's a compliment,
yeah.
right?
Brady finished with 19-6 overall record for U of M, 12-4 in Big Ten play. So that's not something to take lightly. How he slipped so far in the draft is just like all these coaches, all these general managers have kicked themselves for not drafting him. But he wasn't on anybody's target list to start. His final 2 seasons at Michigan, 62% of his passes for 5,222 yards and 35 touchdowns. So that's nothing to sneeze at. He had a couple of really, really good years as the Wolverine starter. But I'll tell you what, yeah, for him to go that far in the draft, Scott, and then, like you said, 25 years already. Wow. Belichick. Those two were joined at the hip, so to speak. And what great glory they brought those fans in Patriots land.
Jacob?
I see why he slipped. For one thing, he was the 7th pick, and he was like the 7th quarterback on their team. They had to keep building his way up in Michigan. They finally got to be a starter last year, or last year and a half at least. He got that. Then he goes and he slips a little bit. But here's the thing: take one look at his picture. He kind of looked like the dork off the National Lampoon's movies. You know, the guy that who got the underwear at the end. You know what I'm talking about, Willie? He got the underwear at the end, and it looked like he killed a leopard. I mean, that's what Tom Brady looked like in his picture with boxers on. So no, it's like when everybody else has abs, he had ab. So it's like you gotta understand. You understand why they would do it at the time, and he would be probably a UDFA now, considering how everybody looks now. I'm talking about even the third stringers now look ridiculous. Look at, I mean, how horrible is Will Levis? And he looks like a UFC fighter. It's such a different time now. So just what we see from the athletic standpoint. But you want to know what Tom Brady did bring? A next level of the thinking cap as far as a quarterback. He brought that part because that was one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time, truthfully. And it's like for the amount of work and he put in a lot of work, but he just had an understanding. That's why you see those John Gruden shows, you know, and you'll see Will Howard. This is the thing. You see a Will Howard, and he looks like he's going to be a professor one day, even if he doesn't even make it through the NFL. The way he was able to explain everything, there's no question that there's teams that are looking for another Brady, and they're hoping it works. When you see things like that,
amazing that you brought up Will Howard, Nick. I was thinking the same exact thing. Talk about a guy that's a sleeper in this draft. I think he's going to be one of them. In fact, before I turn over to Candy, I'll even go a step further. Not only do I think Will Howard is a guy to watch out for Quinn Ewers. Willie saw him in his backyard. And I think that Miami Dolphins have themselves a find when you have Zach Wilson and Tua. I can't stay healthy. Tagovailoa there. So got a couple of interesting QBs to watch out.
Well, Tua used the bubble. The boy in the plastic bubble, he's using the bubble now.
Don't get it. Great observation, Jacob. All right, Candy / JB.
Well, JB said, who would think someone picked 199th would have the most Super Bowl rings by a quarterback and be considered the GOAT? Belichick made the best pick out of the NFL draft history in that round. Whether you love him or hate him, he is by far the best that's ever played the game. It's indisputable, and what a history the two of them have together.
Okay.
That was the JB hat.
Yep.
On my side, go ahead, Scott. What were you saying?
Thanks for being in here, Bo. God bless. We appreciate you. Hopefully we can find another night that'll work with you. I know Tuesdays have been late, but let me know if there's ever another night that works with you. Have carte blanche to come on any show you want, Bo. God bless. Thanks for stopping tonight, bro.
Bo's a good dude.
Yeah, he's great. Go ahead, Candy.
Okay, so for my thoughts, when you draft, depends on what you need. Depends on, you can't just look at, what time did he run the 40 in? Like, okay, so he's fast, great. But does that equate to okay, now I can read defenses, or I'm knowledgeable enough to read defenses. I'm knowledgeable enough to talk with my receiving core and to be able to gel with them. So one of the things that he used to do is he used to go out with them and he used to, train with them. And that he was smart, very intelligent. 199th, did he slip that far? Yeah, maybe. But again, it's picking the right person for the position for your team to help elevate your team. He was the right person. Maybe, yeah, he slipped 199th. Let's face it. Who would have thought Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy would have led his team as far as they did as well? It just means that there's hidden gems out there, and sometimes you can find them. And if you have the right coach to coach whatever player for whatever position they are, you can always coach a player up as well, as long as the player is willing to be coached and coachable. And let's face it, Brady also did some things that a lot of the other players have not done. He took pay cuts to get more weapons around him for his success, because he knew his success was dependent on some of the other players around him.
Yeah, I've always viewed Brady as the Tom Brady, put him in the same category because they're both quarterback type of people. Larry Bird, what he did on the court was magical with his work ethic and so forth. I mean, I'll use that comparison because I had Steve Holman on earlier, and I can certainly relate to a lot of what Jacob's saying, more so now that I've had Steve on here earlier. But good points, Candy. All right, Penzo, what do you got?
On Tom Brady again?
Oh, no, that's okay. You went first. Okay.
I think Willie wanted to respond. No? You're good,
No.
Willie? Okay.
Okay, good. All right, well, you know what? We're going to go back to Boston, but it won't be very long this time now that we know that Willie really does like the town. Of course, don't feel too bad. Bill Russell struggled there, and Boston's a tough town. It's a great sports town if you win, but boy, they're tough on you when you lose. That's for sure. But
that's every stupid fan. That's every stupid fan that thinks they know what they're talking about in every world now.
Yeah, but this will be a short one in Boston, okay? And I'm going to do something I'm not very good at. We're going to talk about business. Candy's got the business degree, just so you know, accounting degree. I don't. All I can do is judge by what I see. And I believe that ORI stands for return on investment. Is that correct, all you business entrepreneurs out there?
Yes.
So we talked about this last week, that the Grossbeck family paid $360 million in 2003. In 2025, they sold the Celtics for $6.1 billion. That's all I know about business. Willie, what do you think about that return on investment? And anything else you want to say? Go ahead.
Unmute.
There he goes. Sign language 101.
Okay. Wait. Okay, here I
am.
There we go. There he is. Okay.
There is something weird that popped up on my screen that stopped me from being able to tap the unmute button. But anyway.
Don't worry about it. Return on investment, the Celtics, 360 versus $6.1 billion.
Yeah, they made a couple coins, not that big of a deal. It's like, how many times can you get lucky, right? No, but seriously, I mean, it's one of the all-time business moves ever. And even though they just won the championship last year and now lead all franchises in the NBA with that distinction, I don't see why their value wouldn't continue to increase.
Well, the New York Knicks aren't helping matters tonight, are they? And Boston lose to the Knicks again tonight?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't bring their value down anymore.
It does if they get knocked out a little bit. No, it won't because the deal is closed, but my goodness. Just thought I'd throw a little update somewhere along the lines. I'm sure Candy will come up with that score by the time we get around to her. All right, Penzo, what do you think about the ROI?
I'm going to just forget about this one.
Okay, no problem. All right, George, what do you think about ROI? I guess Penzo's not worried about the math on this equation.
No.
It's unbelievable. You talk about the great franchises, and I know we talked about it at a different show on your network, Scott and Candy, but I'm the one that brought up the Dodgers, the Yankees, and of course the Patriots in their prime. But man, oh man, the money that the Boston Celtics sale took to do that, pull that all off. Oh, wow. That is a bunch of do-re-mi. And I really think that Boston is a great franchise. Okay. They played in the old building. They got their new arena, and the fans are just crazy over there. We all know that. They've always been great fans, the Celtic fans. But boy, oh boy, that's a lot of money. But that'll pay off for those guys that own the team now, the new owners. Trust me, it'll pay off for them in the long run. It's just going to take a while to recoup that money. That's it for me.
All right. What about you, Jacob?
Well, for one big thing, 6.1 billion won't even be top 10 in the next 15, 20 years. It's just not going to be. It's like money's going up so fast. Another thing is the Bears are going to be, a lot of their minority owners are going to be selling just because they no longer have the old ashtray anymore. So they've got to be able to do their sale whatsoever. And their value is going to go up because they're going to have a new stadium. They're going to have a new stadium and new real estate around them. So their ROI is going to go way up by itself. Now, if they can get themselves a real quarterback, they'll have a real value. So there's the big thing right there. Get rid of Caleb Williams and you get that just fine.
Yeah, but let's stay on point here.
I'm just saying, okay. You get yourself no, this isn't totally. Everybody knows what my thought process I am. But what I mean by that is you get yourself a star quarterback who really doesn't know how to win, and the ROI will really go up for the Bears. But as far as Boston, it's big now, but in the next 2 years, you just wait.
Good. All right. Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's a great point. That 6.1 billion would be topped by something else. Okay, Candy/JB.
Okay, I'm gonna put. Well, let's put the JB hat on. Let's do that first. I mean, the players are getting paid so much more, so the teams have to be worth the ridiculous amount. And great move by the family that owned the Celtics, selling it over to the Penn Group and making tons of money while doing it. But they also took care of their own, giving all their players long-term deals before they left. So my hat, let's face it, everything is going up. Everything is going up. We talk about how much money everybody's making, how the players' salaries have gone up. The team value, yes. Look at ticket prices. Look at ticket sales. Look at jersey sales. Look at TV rights and now streaming rights. So you're putting more players into the mix to help bolster your revenues, to help build your ROI. Is it a great investment? Obviously, yes. Smart business move by them to invest, to have the money and invest and the fortitude. And let's face it, Celtics are in a big media market as well. Whether you like Boston or not, it's a big TV market. I compare it to, and we all know I'm from Wisconsin, small market. Green Bay Packers play in the smallest market, don't have the same revenues as the Boston and stuff like that do. So kudos to them. That's what I'm going to say. I'm done.
Okay. No, the only thing I'll say about that is I'm going to piggyback off Jacob for a moment. $6.1 billion, a good return on investment considering what they ended up paying out in the first place. They got 18 championships. You're going to own an NBA franchise. Oh, we have a comment coming in from X. Haven't seen many of those, but thanks for joining us.
This looks like.
No, well,
I don't know how obvious it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but nevertheless, it's something different. We try to acknowledge as much things as we can. When you talk about the math, 360 versus 6.1 billion, that's pretty good. It really is. But again, I'll go back to what Jacob said. Something will top it. We'll stay on the money side for one more time. As we talked about last week, the Clippers' value, though, get this, is nearly tripled under Steve Ballmer's ownership. His purchase price in 2014 was $2 billion. The current valuation is $5.4 billion. Plus, he built that Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. So you're talking about Steve Ballmer, got it from Donald Sterling, and that was a dumpster fire. And now you bring this guy into the equation, Willie. And I know you like the LA market and California. What are your thoughts about what Steve Ballmer has done?
I mean, he's shown why he is the businessman that he is. Now, if he could somehow bottle all of that ingenuity and all of that intelligence and turn it into talent and give it to his basketball team, then maybe they may get to not just the Western Conference Finals, but an NBA Finals one day. I'm taking a stab at him, yes.
You're taking a meat cleaver. You're taking a meat cleaver.
So are you trying to tell me that James Harden would be a guy that is expendable?
James Harden is the worst individual on the face of the planet. I got a chance to
thank you.
All right.
I got a chance to interview that dude after a game when he was playing with the who was he playing for? It was the Rockets. And they were playing against the Mavs here in Dallas. And he looked at me like I was short. I mean, I am comparatively, well, really, realistically speaking to everybody, but he didn't have to look at me like that when I asked him a question. So ever since then, he's got the
poking his eyes out.
No, until you do right by me.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that kind of body language, but I'll assume it's not nice.
You didn't see The Color Purple?
Yeah, I did many years ago.
Right.
That's one of the longest movies I've had to sit in. And I was with my late grandma Dorothy and her boyfriend. And I have never, for me to sit in the movie 5 hours, I'll go back to what my late father-in-law said. I can't believe I sat in a movie for 4 or 5 hours. I thought I needed duct tape on my mouth after that. And I'll tell you, I definitely need to walk after a while. That's a long time to sit in a movie theater. I can't sit in a movie theater these days, Willie, because people tell me to shut up all the time. Of course, that shouldn't surprise any of you people. I mean, but yeah, I saw The Color Purple. It was a good movie. The strong cast was what it was. But let me, if it makes you feel any better, though, if James Harden made you feel short, I'll tell you, I'll make a bigger challenge with you, Willie. You remember this? I sat next to Rick Smith's interviewing him, and I'll tell you, I'm sitting on one of those things in the locker room, and I felt like I needed a ladder to get the tape recorder to a guy that's 7 foot plus up there. And I'll tell you, that probably still wasn't good enough. Rick Smith compared to James Harden, I'll tell you, Rick Smith would make James Harden look like a midget. I'm telling you, it's a true story.
Sean Bradley did too.
Well, yeah, that's true, but
Sean Bradley made Rick Smith look like a midget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go back to the time when he was drafted, when George Eichhorn and I were covering the draft. So we'll leave it at that, but let's stay on point. Rick Smith compared to James Harden. Of course, I agree with you. I hate James Harden anyways. This guy is what I call a cancer on any team that there is. You call him a toxic individual. He is toxic, okay? I can't wait to see the day that if we ever see his beard come off, nobody will know what this guy looks like anyhow. He needs that beard because he has to go out there and hide his face for every clutch shot he doesn't make, or every time he takes 8 shots in a game when he should be taking 30 and disappears at crunch time. Am I helping you out a little bit here, Willie?
You know what? Maybe you need to shave that stupid beard off.
He'll look like little baby otherwise. He'll be a twin.
I don't care what he looks like. I just want him to keep failing. And that's bad to say, but yeah, I'm sure he's a wonderful person.
No, he's not. Just to the strippers, just the peaches and cream.
Oh, good. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn it over to Willie to Jacob and let you piggyback off each other, and the rest of us will find a way to fit into this conversation.
This is next time you ever see James Harden, just remind him he looks like Kimbo Slice's little brother that can't fight. But I mean, but this is the thing. This is the thing, though.
Kimbo Slice.
But for the last 13 years, I will say this, Willie. For the last 13 years, I started this 13 years ago when he was hitting 60-point games like nothing. I said he's not. I saw him one time in that game 7. Another thing, it was the first game 7, and I saw that, and I'm like, this guy's never going to win. And I was stuffing it down people's throats 13 years ago, and they were laughing at me. I was stuffing it, and then meanwhile, the media kept bringing and making him 3 different times the number. Where'd you go, Willie? No,
I'm still here.
I know.
But he's probably laughing too hard.
Yeah, I know. But 13 years ago. I mean, through all those years, he's been on 3 different teams where he was the guarantee they were going to win a title. And the greatest threesome of all time, better than the Boston, better than LA, better than Chicago. And they hadn't played a game yet. And all that stuff. And I kept saying, nope, it's just James Harden. They're not going to win a title. Get laughed at. All that kind of stuff. Now people are telling them that they're not going to win because it's James Harden. But I started 13 years ago. That's the whole point. But bringing up Ballmer real quickly, there is a thing on YouTube that shows him selling Windows 1. Have you seen that? Go look it up. It's hilarious. He has terrible looking hair. It's like straw. And it looks like a used car salesman. He looks like a used car. It's like Windows 1, not $9.99, not $8.99. I am not kidding you. He literally was like that. And I'm like, if you watch him, you'll realize why he got the Clippers and why he's able to get every business deal going.
I mean, think about to build that stadium right next to SoFi Stadium is brilliant.
Exactly.
And here's the thing that's even interesting. I'm glad that the Forum is still there. They're still using it for something else. He doesn't own it, but somebody else does. So you get the Forum for different events. So you still keep that stadium intact. You get the Intuit Dome. You have the Staples Center or whatever they're calling it these days. So you have all those first-class stadiums.
.com arena.
Oh, is that what that is now? I was there when it was the Staples Center, but when downtown wasn't as developed as it is now. Candy will get there. Our first challenge is Europe, but that is interesting stuff. I never thought I'd see the day we'd be talking about pickleball, cornhole, and Kimbo Slice on the same show. Oh, I'll tell you, I must be out of my mind. And no, I'm not going to go out there and audition for American Idol because they'd probably run me out of the building.
James Harden goes to enough strip clubs. He knows cornhole without the sandbags.
There you go. Well, we're hearing from an actor. And by the way, Jacob, I will get you connected with a lady by the name of Rachel Galvin, who's an actress in the area, and we'll do a no limit show to get you on.
No problem. That'd be great.
All right. We'll go to the man who plays the piano, I think. Okay. And he plays it with his future Apple phone. Okay, and he will get one of these days. I hope I'm alive to see it. But well, give me your thoughts about what they're doing with the Clippers and Steve Ballmer.
Well, I think the Clippers have always been, the next best thing, according to the fans in LA. But the fact of the matter is they've done nothing. They haven't proven anything. They've been in contention several seasons, including this year, but they really haven't challenged. They've been living in the shadow of the Lakers, let's face it, ever since they moved out there and they shared the doggone building, the arena, for so many years, till Steve came around and finally put his thinking cap on and built his own arena. And, of course, Mr. Silver awarded him an all-star game already. But that's another story for another day. Tom Gores doesn't get one in Detroit, but, of course, Stevie Boy gets his into L.A. I think that was sort of predictable. I didn't think it'd be that high, Scott, that amount. But the fact of the matter is it is one of America's mega markets. I mean, it's right up there in the top 3. So you're going to have a lot of money spent for franchises that reside in New York and Chicago, L.A., Philly, places like that.
Okay. All right. Candy, JB.
So I'm going to put the candy hat on first.
Yay.
The entire NBA is worth an estimated 90 to 100 billion. This valuation includes the value of all 30 NBA teams, their real estate, and related businesses such as the WNBA. The league's net worth has steadily increased due to factors like media rights deals, sponsorships, merchandise sales, and international expansion. The Clippers are estimated around 5.4 billion. They actually generated last year $353 million in revenue, with 80 million coming from gate receipts. 80 million from gate receipts. I'm going to put a question out to the panel. Anyone want to guess what NBA team is currently the lowest valued NBA team?
Probably the Sixers.
Go ahead, Willie.
No.
I want to hear what Willie's got to say.
I'm going to say the Orlando Magic.
I said New Orleans Pelicans.
That's what I say. I say the Pelicans too.
I'll say the Minnesota Timberwolves.
It's the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh.
$3.2 billion.
And most of that will go to Ja in his next contract.
Well, you know what, Willie? I still like your thinking. I don't know what they're doing in New Orleans with the Pelicans, but I guess it'll be Joe Dumar's job to figure it out, though, won't it, Willie and George?
Yes, it sure will be. Good for Joe.
Hat. Here's the JB hat. Steve Ballmer was a dream for the NBA when he bought the Clippers from Donald Sterling. He turned a laughing stock into a respectable organization, into a dome, is revolutionary and a great new arena. And the Clippers are a team that you can't take for granted. With young guys like Norman Powell and vets like Kawhi Leonard, they'll be in the mix from year to year.
Well, he made him. Well, he did make him interesting, with all due respect, when he had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. That was bad then. But he did. I'm not saying that they won anything. For those people in Detroit, don't rejoice a little. They've never been to the NBA Finals, so the Detroit Lions don't have to worry about going to the Super Bowl because the Clippers have been worse. Larry Brown made him credible. He even won with them. But now we're really stretching, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, the one thing with the Clippers, first thing you got to do is get rid of James Harden. You got to get rid of that. But the big thing with the Clippers by itself is they got rid of a con artist. Forget the whole racism thing that he was doing. We already know what Donald Sterling was doing. He's an absolute con artist in every which way. He, like, during his time there, he literally had a contest to get $1,000 to hit 10 free throws. And then he said double or nothing, and then he wouldn't pay him.
Oh, jeez.
Donald Sterling is a con artist. He's a scumbag. He was basically doing a slumlord. He was basically a slumlord around San Diego than LA. He was terrible. When they got to Steve Ballmer, they got a legitimate salesman. A legitimate salesman, a legitimate businessman. They got rid of the slumlord and they got rid of the con artist.
Well, for whatever it's worth, there is a team with the San Diego Clippers, which happens to be the farm team of the LA Clippers. So,
they were in San Diego. But see, he bought San Diego when he was saying he bought it when it was San Diego, and he said we're going to be big time. We're going to be big time. We're going to be contenders. And then they literally 6 months later, he was trying to move them.
Well,
did that team used to be the Buffalo Braves?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Bob McAdoo was on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jacob, that was just called an FYI. San Diego Clippers are back, but not better than ever. Hey, yes, we know George Eichhorn and I are old enough to know about the Buffalo Braves and Bob McAdoo. All right, Penman, you want to defer on this one, or you think you got something to say on this?
The LA Clippers, don't take this the wrong way, Willie, if you're a fan of them, but the LA Clippers are like the Dallas Cowboys. They are a good seasoned team. Once they get in the playoffs, they start to fall apart. But look at this year, look at other years. Once they get in the playoffs, the Clippers show up. But I think they're a seasoned team. They got to get rid of James Harden, like everybody said. I'm a Sixers fan. I'm glad we got rid of them, even though we haven't done anything since then. But James Harden in Game 7 can't be reliable. So LA Clippers, you got to keep drafting. You got to spend money wisely.
Okay, I've got some news notes to get to. Go to a station break. Anybody that wants to come on news, they can. Otherwise, we'll just get it out there. News items: West Virginia hired North Texas head coach Ross Hodge, who was 46-23 in 2 seasons. UNLV finalized a 5-year deal to make veteran college coach Josh Pastner the school's next head coach. He's the former coach at Memphis and Georgia Tech. UNLV's going to have a lot of excitement because Coach Pastner has us ready, and they're ready to run through a brick wall, according to NBC News 8 on the Sports Wrap. And what's so interesting how Sports Wrap is, I happen to have that show on Saturdays as well with Ralph Williams. So anybody have any comments? I like the Josh Pastner one, that he has a chance to go out there. Of all the hires that I just mentioned, Josh Pastner, Willie, intrigues me out at UNLV. Some thoughts?
Nah, I don't really know as much about this story, but I heard you mention Dodge from North Texas. he was a head coach at South Lake Carroll, which has produced so many great players: Chase Daniel, Greg McElroy, Quinn Ewers actually went to South Lake Carroll too. So, yeah, kudos to him. I mean, he's going to another market. I mean, it's not going to be as big as the Dallas Fort Worth market, but maybe he'll get some good quality players up there, and help turn that program around.
Okay, I want to get to one more topic. I know Willie has to bolt at about 9:30 Eastern time, no problem, but this one is really important I'd like to get him involved on this one. Is there any teeth to the fact that the Bears did Chicago? Naperville scores big. Downtown Naperville moved to 2028. Obviously, Jacob is rejoicing over the Bears have officially announced the location. The project is expected to break ground in 2026 with the inaugural season anticipated for 2028. Bears president and CEO Kevin Warren said Naperville offers the perfect balance of opportunity for the next generation of Bears fans. I know Jacob's rejoicing. Willie, what are your thoughts about Naperville finally being the new home of the Bears?
Unmute, Willie.
Well, okay, we'll start off with you. When he comes back, he comes back.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jacob. Give me your thoughts
All right.
on when
It's
he
like
comes back.
First off, the Chicago.
Well, he's
the
back.
Chicago Park District. The Chicago Park District has absolutely positively 1,000% ruined Soldier Field for years. Ever since they went to turf in '88. They went to turf. They went to regular grass turf in '88. It used to be AstroTurf. Ever since then, they have been cheap. They have ruined the thing. The Chicago Park District's been horrible. It has been ridiculous. And every single year, the drainage systems are in terrible shape, all that kind of stuff. And the thing about it is every other team, be it Arizona, be it anywhere else, be it any place that gets these things, they get new uniforms. They get new everything. And everything looks flashy. It looks like a Lamborghini. The Bears still look like the old school VW Bug to this day. Their offenses look like an old school VW Bug. Everything looks like a bug. It looks ridiculous. It looks like it's ridiculous. It is time for the Bears to get into the next level.
Well, good. I'm glad you lit off with it. Now Willie can feed off of you. Now he has something to say about it.
You know, it's hard for me to have any sort of sympathy because I'm a fan of the Oakland or now Las Vegas Raiders. I'm also a fan of now the Sacramento A's. And I was in the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in 2017. And it looked the exact same as it did when we lived out there when I was just a little tight. But at the same time, I mean, I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. I kind of hate to see these old stadiums go away. I mean, I was actually talking to somebody about Veteran Stadium. I was talking to somebody about Three River Stadium, about how you had the two teams playing in one stadium. I know we'll never see that again, but at the same time, I mean, I understand it as well because times change, technology's there, and it actually adds a whole lot of value to the franchise whenever they get these new places to play in. So it's bittersweet. I'm not even a Bears fan, but I'm a traditionalist when it comes to these venues, and I understand it. So can you tell me, where is the stadium going to be?
It's Naperville.
How far is that from downtown?
Yeah, how far is that from where it is?
Oh, now? That's suburbs. That's going to be suburbs, so it's probably going to be 30, 45 minutes.
Oh, those freeways are always jammed in Chicago.
Yeah. No, but let me tell you this, Willie. That old dusty ashtray that just passed away of an owner that just passed away. The Bears had the last one that took cash in certain areas. The stadium. She is old. She was old. She was using her days looking at Matlock and eating tapioca pudding. There wasn't anything to that team, and it has been time to get younger, fresher, hipper, and everything. And it is just long overdue.
Well, let me tell you this, Willie. Now we're making real big history on this show. You talked about the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, right?
Yes, sir.
So now mark this date on your calendar, people. 5/7/2025. Not only we talk pickleball on this show, and what do we have? We got pickleball, we got cornhole. What was the other one we mentioned here? We got pickleball.
Soldier Field.
No, well that
No,
too.
no. At the beginning.
Now we got cricket on here. Because that's where they're going to be playing at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum.
That's right.
So
they've already started. That's right.
So yeah, you got and then we got Kimbo Slice. We'll call them Kimbo Slice of Pizza is what we'll call them. So
Are the rats going to be backups over at the Alameda Coliseum for the cricket?
So here, think about that. We got Kimbo Slice of Pizza in the eyes of Chris Berman. Okay, and then we got cricket out in Oakland Alameda Coliseum. We got pickleball and cornhole. This is really what the sports exchange is all about, people. We got sports from everywhere. This might even become the extreme games or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what this stuff is anymore. It's unbelievable. Well, what are they? I'm trying to remember all these names. All right, Willie, I know you're running out of time. So before we let you get going here, why don't you let everybody know how they get a hold of you? And we look forward to having you on Wednesday nights as well.
Oh man, I am we the Shakeback Media Group on Twitter at SHKBKMEDIAGRP, and it is like that because Twitter would not allow me to spell out the entire thing. So that's where we are on Twitter. On Instagram is Shakeback Media Group. On TikTok is at Coach Willie. Also, my wife and I have a life coaching practice, Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions, and we actually just revamped our podcast called Don't Jump the Podcast, in which we're giving nuggets about relationships, families, and all kind of great stuff. So y'all come check us out.
That sounds awesome, man.
All right, well, Willie, I'll tell you, we're looking forward to having you as a regular on the Wednesday night edition of Sports Exchange. Glad you made it on. The biggest thing is you caught the main topics. That's why I made sure we got them on while you were on here. And I got you on there for the main course. It's all that matters. And we look forward to seeing you on after around 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday night joining. You're going to make a strong crew even stronger, Willie. God bless, and I'm looking forward to having you on as many of these as you want to come out, especially the Wednesday night sports exchange. All right.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, have a good night, Willie. So my regards to your wife. All right, there we go. Now there are 5. Okay, so now we'll let George Eichhorn talk about the suburbs. Once upon a time, the Lions played at the Pontiac Silverdome. That's why you were always downtown. That's why I was at the Silverdome. Give me your thoughts about the new venue out in Chicago, George.
Well, I'm not too excited about it. I know they needed a new stadium, but my heart is always in downtown for these stadiums, and I know it's not always possible, but they're getting what they want. Obviously, the Bears want their own place, and they can control it, and they can bring in all kinds of events because it's going to have a dome. They can get the NCAA Final Four. They can bid on the Super Bowl, and they certainly will bid on the NFL draft and et cetera, et cetera. I think that Naperville is the thing that really concerns me is the people that don't have a lot of money, those people that live in the core city, those people live in the South Side. There's got to be some good shuttle buses and good transportation to get those fans out there. And I'm sure they should work all that out. But that's something that has to be done because that's such a big metropolis, the greater Chicago area. So I think it's going to be good for the Bears in the long run because it's going to bring more money and more revenue. Okay. They're going to have more opportunities and more events. It's not going to happen overnight, but they're doing a good job. And they stole one of our coaches from Detroit, so he'll probably do a good job too for them.
So, Candy, I don't know about this, okay? Is that stadium going to have a dome stadium or not? I heard it was.
Yes.
It is going to have a dome stadium. Yep. I didn't know that.
That's what I thought.
Just wanted hi, Jay. Yeah. Welcome back. We appreciate you being on the show with Steve Holman Sr. as well. So that will have a dome stadium out in Chicago. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. All right. You know what? We'll go ahead to Candy/JB. Which hat do you want to wear first?
I'm going to wear the candy hat first.
Okay.
The candy hat can.
The candy man.
Because after you do that, even though it's a little late, you're going to give our first station break, and then we'll get to a few other things.
That's fine. So, as Willie had talked about, he loves the old town stadiums. The way I look at it is obviously I'm a Packer fan, so Lambeau Field is up there. We all know that Lambeau Field is in one of the smallest markets. It's literally it's not downtown Green Bay. It's out in the suburbs. It's out, there's actually people's houses across the street. They talked about that. The one thing I like about Lambeau Field and some of these stadiums not being downtown is the feeling of the being able to tailgate. There is something to be said about tailgating before games. And if you've never done it, it's totally fun. You're sitting in the parking lot, you're talking with all kinds of fans, you're grilling, you might be drinking. But when you put a stadium downtown, like I've gone to Ford Field, Scott, and you don't have the tailgating around it because it's downtown. There's the Tiger Stadium is across the street. There's a parking garage. You're not down there, outside talking with people, tailgating, grilling. So there's something to be said both ways. Downtown, you're in the thick of things. George, to your point about lower income people, will they be able to go to Naperville and bust them out? Honestly, lower income people, do they have the money to spend on an NFL ticket these days? Tickets are not cheap these days. Naperville is one of the what I would say more affluent parts of Chicago. It's south and it's west. I've always thought of it as one of the more affluent suburbs of Chicago. Is it a good place to put a stadium? They have to do something because obviously their stadium, they can't stay where they're at. But is that the answer? For Chicago, I mean, I think, and putting a dome on it, I think you lose some of the whole Windy City atmosphere.
Yeah.
That brought.
Yeah, but they want the Super Bowl. They want the Super Bowl, though. They want the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, Jay says it in chat. Chicago Dome doesn't sound right, but put Super Bowl in the equation, it sounds right.
I mean,
and a Final Four too.
Yep, they'll get both.
Even Goodell has not, because of how Green Bay handled the draft, he has not completely ruled out a Super Bowl back in Lambeau Field. Now, will it happen? I doubt it because A, it's not as big. 2, it definitely doesn't have a dome, so it could be freezing cold. But with that being said, I think going indoors changes the game. I think it definitely changes the game. And I think that lessens the advantage Chicago had in Soldier Field. Now,
the Chicago weather has been so overrated, though. They're only like 500. It just doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm telling you, Minnesota was no picnic to play in years ago either, Candy. I mean, if anybody ever went out to the Metropolitan Stadium, if you went over to Metropolitan Stadium and played out there, oh my goodness. And then I know they played at University of Minnesota, but playing outdoors in Minnesota and Chicago are tough, let alone Green Bay.
I understand. I lived up there for how many years? I know what it's like.
And Candy, I just want to interject. There is tailgating. It's not around the stadium. It's a few blocks away. It's called the Eastern Market. So the Eastern Market is where you get your produce and your fruit and vegetables and flowers all year round. Well, they designated that as the safe tailgating area for the Detroit Lions. So I just wanted
that sounds like vegan tailgating the way you just said that.
Slight correction to your statement.
But I would still say, George, it's not the same. It's not the same as being right there in the parking lot. I know they do it at Lambeau. They even do it in some of the backyards around Lambeau. And I'm not just saying there, but
that's a different environment. Yes,
it is a different environment, and that's perfectly fine. Lambeau Field is Lambeau Field. Will it ever be replaced? And that's going to be the question. We talk about all these other stadiums getting replaced. Lambeau Field is iconic, but will it ever be replaced? That's a question for another show.
Okay, so you're wearing another hat. What does that hat say?
Okay, I'm going to wear the JB hat. Living 15 minutes from Soldier Field, it's not the best for football fans. There's not really a great place to tailgate. There's not a lot of room or restaurants around the area, even though it's downtown Chicago. Going to Naperville, I don't know if that's the answer, but I like if they take it outside the box. They had Arlington last time, now Naperville. At least they're trying to improve the stadium situation. Trying to do what's best for the franchise, the players, and the fans. All you want for any of your teams.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is I've had a lot of great memories covering the Lions over at Soldier Field when the Lions won or lost. It's still a great place being right by the lake. Even if I had to wear 3 pairs of socks underneath my hiking boots, I didn't care. It was still worth going there. But luckily, though, I had it easier than anybody else. At least I got to be in the press box where they were giving us box lunches. It wasn't so bad compared to what everybody else had to deal with outside. I'm just saying, I love Soldier Field, but it's inevitable the place has to go.
To say this, though, I live in Atlanta, so I've seen Truist Field for the Braves going into the suburbs. Put real estate around it. It is a cash cow. Yeah. That's just, and they're going to put real estate around this thing. Yes, it's going to be an absolute cash cow. People don't. I've been to the original Soldier Field before it even got renovated, and I know what you're exactly talking about. Thing is, though, when he's right, there's no real estate around the thing, nowhere to park, nowhere to tailgate, nowhere to anything. I mean, and they just act. It's the thing about it is, if you want to have a landmark, you have Wrigley Field, and they even had to change things on that. You can keep the ivy. This is the deal. It's time to get new uniforms. It's time to get into the thing, because every other team, including Arizona Cardinals, including everybody, has something new, flashy, and cool, and the Bears don't. And it's about time the Bears did.
All right, Penman.
I think they need to pick up and just move to another stadium which is good for the team, good for the organization, good for the fans. They need to, because if you face it, every team besides the Eagles and Steelers are going dome style. So I think that's where the NFL is going. Whatever Goodell wants, wherever he wants to put his monies in, that's where they're going to put it. So every team's going to go for a dome. Everybody wants that Super Bowl appearance and show up. So we'll see what happens with that. So I think it'll be a good fit.
Well, just remember the 72 degrees, because that's what it's going to be on every single stadium. All right, Candy Station break. A few more topics and parting shots to get to.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, and the foreword is written by another panelist on here, Mr. George Eichhorn. Great job, gentlemen. This book talks about Scott's 40-plus years in the industry and how it has changed and evolved. New school media versus old school media. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where we have a plethora of great writers that write for us. So check it out. If you see the red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, click it, like us, share us with all your friends and family. Anybody you know that would love this kind of programming, please let them know. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email me at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to the program, Scott.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to go to our pundit part of this segment. And I really think this one's a really good one that everybody can talk about. We're going to let Jacob talk about it first. Can you believe this, Jacob? A 92-year-old Chinese woman climbed a 7-foot high fence to escape a nursing home in 24 seconds, 2 meters high gate. 92 years old, people climbing a 7-foot-high fence because she didn't like a nursing home. In 24 seconds.
Good.
I couldn't do that if I wanted to. I don't know how many people are in shape to do it, but Jacob, this name had your name written all over it. What are you going to do when you're 92 years old?
That, I promise that. But no, this is the thing. We had a really good family friend. And I talk to my mom every day, and I talk to all that kind of stuff. She went to 96. She's just recently passed away, unfortunately. She was a really good family friend of ours. And I always said to her, and I said to everybody around it, I knew her time was coming when she wasn't trying to escape the nursing home. I knew that type of thing. Because if your health, her knees were gone, she couldn't move anymore. And it was all that kind of stuff. And then when you don't have the ability to have it, you lose your energy and your will. And that's the thing with this lady. It's like she climbed it because she didn't want the nursing home. This is the same as the guy who wanted to go to the D-Day events. They have a movie about it with Pierce Brosnan. And he escaped the nursing home to do it. This is the thing I want to tell families all the time. If I was one, I don't mind senior living because there's things to do and they have their own independence. But if there's one business model that I'd love to kill dead, it's nursing homes. And it's because my main thing is family. Your parents took care of you. It's time. I mean, if they were good to you, it's time to, it's kind of turn a favor. Everything like that. It's time to get to this thing. You keep them moving, keep them everything. You don't just give them to this type of thing. And so I'm very glad to see that Chinese lady doing that. And she had the energy able to do that. And I intend to be that way at 92.
Yeah, that's why I pulled it up. Some of these unbelievable stories that I put on the Sports Exchange don't always have to be sports related because with all due respect, Pundit's Pundit will always be a great show as far as I'm concerned, and that's why I devoted a segment to it, mainly because of Jacob. I like coming up with off-the-wall stories that you're not going to hear anywhere, and I'm glad we were able to pull it in. Penman, you got a thought on nursing homes?
92 years old, that's incredible, climbing that wall. I guess if you're not happy, you climb your way out of it. So 24 seconds, that's incredible. That's faster. Well, that's just as fast as a pit crew. So but if you got to go somewhere, you got to go. You got to get out.
That's what you call Ripley's Believe It or Not. What about you, George?
Well, I have to, I echo Jacob's sentiments. It's just not it's not a really good place, unfortunately, to live the rest of your life. If you've been there, and I know we all have, we've seen relatives or friends that are in there, and some of them are nicer than others. Some of them are more expensive, and the nicer ones that are going to cost you more money are the ones you hope to do, but a lot of people can't afford that. And they can't afford that because they're limited too by Medicaid and things like that. So without getting into this too deeply, I congratulate that woman too. Hats off to her. My gosh, for her to be able to scale that fence and do that. It's an incredible story, Scott.
Hey, George, she's beaten your record of 26 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Minutes.
I'd like to see George go over 27 seconds without a Detroit reference on the show.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a harder one for him to handle than this.
Yeah.
He all goes. This guy here deserves a really. It all goes about talking about the Chicago Bears getting a new coach without even mentioning his name. Now that I don't know if I call that a 92-year-old moment or a 102-year-old moment or minus 102, but he's primitive. Really? Seriously, really?
Ben, what's his name? Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You had your chance and you blew it. No hashtag there for you. Maybe another step toward the doghouse. No, kidding. You'd have to do a lot worse things to get in the doghouse and not mention a name. So, Candy, some thoughts about what I just mentioned about that 92-year-old woman. God love that woman.
The will to survive is strong. This is JB. The will to survive is stronger than one. Shows what the mind has to make you accomplish great things and amazing things. What I'm going to say is at some point in our lives, we all age. Some age gracefully, some don't age gracefully. Some have the means to and the health to stay living in their house, and some don't. The unfortunate part of not being able to stay in your home is that we go to what's called nursing homes. And the problem with nursing homes is it's run like a business. It's not your home. It's run like a business because it's a business. And so therefore they make decisions and they hire people, and they're not always in the best interest of the patient that's there. So did she want to get out? Absolutely. You don't have the same freedoms. You don't have the same everything. It's a harsh reality when you can't stay at home and live at home. And I've seen it because I've had grandparents that couldn't stay at home. I'll never forget the night I got a call from my grandfather because my grandmother had fallen down and he couldn't help her get up. And this was when she was living at home. So I had to go and I, went over there and helped him. But the other thing is, she had fallen down. The question is, was it the right thing for me to even move her? Like, you don't know if she injured herself, she hurt herself. It's hard because it's a hard position to be in, to have somebody, go into a nursing home. But kudos for her to be in shape that she could even get up and over the gate at that age. So,
well, let me go back to a story that I once heard for a lot of our folks that are older enough to understand this. I've never heard the saying from Nipsey Russell, a comedian. And I really like this because this topic really brought it on me. And yes, really, seriously, really, or I might even turn that over and say, seriously, really, seriously. Nipsey Russell once coined the phrase, will sex still be great when I'm 98? Remember that? How many people remember that? It won't be, but I won't participate.
Yeah.
Heads off to this woman for trying to get out of there. I don't blame her. Nursing homes are a depressing place. I'm not worried about winding up there. I don't think my 62-year-old body will allow me to get there. But hey, I admire reading the stories. And people that know me real well, I live every day, so we're like my last. And I'll tell you one thing: I'm a road warrior and an adventure guy. So my body's not equipped to go 92. But I'll tell you, 62 is my version of 92 to 100. God love the woman. That's why she made the Sports Exchange tonight. One more topic before we go to parting shots. Michigan President Santa Ono is going to the University of Florida job, and he will take on that role in Gainesville this summer via the Detroit News. And once again, the Gators get him and the Wolverines don't. So, George, you're obviously up there. What do you think motivated him to go to a place with no snow and no income tax and the Gators?
Well, it's a strange situation. It caught a lot of people off guard. They had just given him a new contract and a big raise several months back. The combination of what's going on on the streets of America, and I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but he ran into a buzzsaw with things that have been going on with the Palestinians and the Israeli war and the protesters and all that stuff. I don't think he was pushed out the door, but it sounds like the door was a little bit ajar for him to leave. But the man, to me, is a good man, and I think it's a big loss for U of M and a big gain for Florida. This man is a very intelligent man. He knows how to run a huge university. I think it's Michigan's big loss. I really do. It was just, he was railroaded by some people. I'll just leave it at that at U of M.
Fair enough. Jacob, some thoughts.
I'll go the other way with it also. It's like, and you're there, George, so you know that part. And I'll go the other way with it. I can tell you exactly why they probably went to get him. Florida just won the basketball national title, and their football team is absolute garbage. And guess what Michigan was? Yeah, the University of Michigan. They're seeing those type of things again, and they want that back. They already got the basketball. They want to see the football. no question they want to get the football renovated again. You know what I'm saying there?
Okay, Pedman.
Jacob took my take, but that's the reason I agree with Jacob what he said. They haven't won a championship since Urban Meyer and Tebow, and they won a championship with Michigan, and that's what they want. So that's why they got him.
They got a terrible coach over there right now. They got terrible
he's horrible.
Yeah,
Billy Napier. Did you realize though that Florida? You know what, we talked about this last night on Inside Depiction. We talked about that they retain 98% of their players. So NIL money.
Well, it's also Florida, and there's no
98. Well, yeah, I mean that may be another reason why you got 98% with their NIL situation taken care of. Now Napier's is going to go in there and get whatever he needs. So they might want to think about throwing the towel in on Billy Napier too quick, but. That's just something
I'll say this. I've got NIL also, as in when I look at my bank account, it's nil. So, I mean, I wish I could have the other end of it.
You should get the sideline chat and then script chat too. I put some of my stuff in there once in a while, but I've got some pretty good content for those people to dive into for as many of those individuals that are on their own podcast. Candy and JB, go ahead.
JB says, I'm not sure why anyone would want to leave the University of Michigan to go to the University of Florida. University of Michigan has a greater tradition. It's in the Big Ten. It's a historical university. Says a lot about the person's plans. If that's what they're going to do, wish them the best of luck. So what I'm going to say is, so Santa Ono, he's a Canadian-born American. And I know Michigan's really close to Canada, but that doesn't mean they have a lot of Canadians that live there. There are a lot of Canadians that do live in Florida. Let's not forget, he's been the president of the University of Michigan from October of 2022 to May of 2025. So he's already done that for a couple of years. Michigan is on the rise. Michigan is very much a historic university. No problem. No doubt about it. But so is the University of Florida. And let's not count them out. They might not be on the top of things now. But we talked on the other night about how Florida college football is better when Florida football is better. And not just University of Florida, but Florida State and the Hurricanes. So maybe he wants to put his stamp on that and grow the university because it's more of a challenge to him. Maybe he thinks, Michigan's already. The other thing is we forget. And I was going to look to see how old he was born in 1962. Yes, Florida doesn't have state income tax. So maybe sometimes Florida's got this rap about you move to it when you retire. But the thing is, maybe you move to it before you want to retire because then you're already here, you've established yourself, and then you can retire in the same state that you worked in because a lot of people come here for vacation. It's growing, let me tell you. Parts of Florida are inundated and almost too populated. But he found a different challenge, and that's why he wanted to come to Florida. And kudos to him for having the balls to do that.
Well, I'll say one thing. He weathered the Jim Harbaugh situation pretty well, didn't he? Handled that as well as you can handle it. And now Sherrone Moore's going to get a couple of games off because there's more to that situation than meets the eye as well. But he got a taste of Florida when he brought Dusty May from Florida Atlantic to Ann Arbor. And guess what? He doesn't have to shovel snow either. Gainesville's a great town. I love going to Gainesville. And we're happy that they're a media distribution partner of ours, as well as Miami, as well as Florida State. So you're South Florida and Florida Atlantic. So I think it's a great move for the guy. I really do. And Michigan will find a qualified candidate. They really will. I mean, the football program, is doing well, but Florida, 98%. They don't have a whole lot of work to do. So for those of you that are critics about Billy Napier, Candy and I are going to see an incredible football game later on this year when Florida takes on Miami. And on Inside the Pigskin, I should also point out, too, that I have a regular Florida Gator on there who's one of our co-hosts named Ben Troop. And last night I had Chris T. Jones from the University of Miami. And last night's show was about the most entertaining show you could ever imagine with this group that I've assembled here. If you haven't seen the new version of Inside the Pigskin, which Candy's not permanently, you got to see it. This group here, George, you worry about some of these shows are a little bit long, okay? We can give you the opportunity to stay on 10 minutes, 30 minutes, as long as you want. But this group that we got on that Inside the Pigskin, they're full of Energizer bunnies, George, and the rest of you people. These guys love talking football. Just like Dan Campbell has his thing that you got to love the passion. These guys love talking the passion about it. I know that Pensman's popped in from time to time with this group, right, Pensman? These are a good group of characters that we've got on this group.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, no, I applaud. Well, Michigan will find another good president, but Santa Ono has survived a lot of turbulent times in Ann Arbor. Not that it'll be any easier in Florida, but at least if he goes to Florida, there's nothing wrong with making that move at all. And I know that Florida football's on the right track. Michigan made it they won their national championship, made it to the college football playoff a couple of years in a row to get there. So I wish them well. All right. Well, now we have our parting shots. Go ahead, Pence. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I got a question for Candy. She said that talked about Florida football. Is that professional sports too, or just college football with the Jacksonville and Dolphins? He said that if it's not football in Florida, is that with what?
It's more college because the tradition was there that college football is better when Florida football is, and all of the Florida schools, because Florida is a breeding ground for athletes and football.
Okay, no, I wasn't sure if the Dolphins or Jaguars were in that category too.
I wasn't referring to NFL.
Right, it wasn't. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Okay, now we go to our parting shots. Go ahead, George, lead off. Well,
George, you're on mute.
Mute.
Well, George will attempt to lead off.
Everybody was on the back of Mr. Baez, the shortstop of the Detroit Tigers. Well, in case you haven't noticed, he found a new position, center field, and he's done an outstanding job. He's fielding like a gem. He's hitting over 300. Where this has come from, I don't know, but the man has got new life, and he's got a new set of burners because he is playing out of his mind right now. I understand he got 2 or 3 more hits tonight against Colorado. But Baez is for real. But where is he going to play him when everybody's healthy? That's all I got to say.
Good enough. That's pretty good. I'd say that they should keep him there and worry about it later. If he's rolling hot, you got a big contract over there. You might as well get as much value out of it as you can. It's not my parting shot, but you brought up a good hypothetical question. I'm giving you what I think. And obviously you're smart enough to bring it up the first place. Go ahead, Jacob.
Ric Flair, we got something here. I'm going to say this right now. Ooh. I just saw a little story that you had to once again pawn off a really big Rolex, that came from WWE, and you had to do it again. All the stories I keep hearing about you is everybody that is your best buddy has paid back your debts. Paid them all. I mean, whether it's Vince, whether it's Hulk, whether it's any of those, those are your buddies because they pay off your stupid debts, and then you won't listen and you won't learn. See, I've seen enough of your movies to understand that there's something wrong with you in a certain way. You're one of the all-time greats. You really are. You've been giving us a lot of wrestling fans a lot of great memories. But realize something. You've given up a year ago or so. You gave up on a 5th marriage and somebody that helped you when you were in near death. You gave up on that because all you want to do is party and be the 30-year-old Ric Flair again. You're not. You're 77 years old, 78. You're not that. The stories are wonderful. Make make your money going onto the circuit, do whatever. Quit going to get drunk, quit going to an Applebee's or something, getting the cops called on you and getting all drunk and everything. You're a 12-year-old. You're ridiculous. The one thing I see with Hulk right now is, yeah, he's been booed out of many places, but he's starting businesses. You've had yours, but it's your name and your image. He actually understands business because he's an adult. He acts like an adult. Maybe a childlike adult with the way he dresses, mind you, but he understands money because he's never been bankrupt. You've gone bankrupt 5 different times. At some point, I'm just going to say this real quickly. At some point, maybe, there's going to be grandkids around your life. You don't need to go, woo, ooh, Rolex. You don't need to do that. Let them look at that on YouTube. Be dad, be grandpa while you still have the ability. Stay healthy. Stay working out. Keep your good shape. Do that. That's awesome. But be grandpa, be dad, and grow up.
Great stuff. Hulk Hogan, got Ric Flair, we got cricket, we got pickleball, we got cornhole, and we got Kimbo Slice. Doesn't get any better than that. Great parting shot, Jacob. I'm impressed. What about you, Benjamin?
My party shot is the NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs in a long time is one of the best NBA playoffs I've seen in several years. I'm sorry, George, but the Detroit Pistons have been eliminated, but they went the distance. They were scrappy. They fought to the end.
Yes, they did.
And Detroit and New York's taking a pounding to the Boston Celtics. And then you got Indiana, Denver. I'm just impressed with these playoffs. Do I wish my team was in it? Yes, but it happens. But I'm just impressed with these NBA playoffs. That's my party shot.
Hey, Candy, you got 2 of them.
Okay, let's go to, let me get JB's here. What the heck is going on in the NBA playoffs second round? Can any team defend their home court? As of right now, every road team has won every game in the second round. How the Cavs lost game 2 is disgusting and weak. Says a lot about their heart, and it's totally sad.
Okay. Yours?
My parting shot is kudos to the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame. You named Carrie Walsh on your inductee as in the class of 2025. You also put a number of great people, Gabby Douglas in there, Odie Miller, Serena Williams, Mike Krzyzewski, Phil Knight, Serena Williams. Kudos for recognizing these great Olympic athletes.
Okay. Well, I have an easy one. Parting shot goes out to the Athletic. How on the earth do you give the Detroit Lions an F in the NFL draft? Do you know anything about football at all? This is a really, seriously, really moment. Do you know anything that Brad Holmes' nickname is called Einstein? Do you realize that Brad Holmes has taken this team from the dirty depths to a team that's won a lot of football games in a 3-year time? Don't get me wrong. The Athletic is a quality publication. But if you think I'm going to believe anything they say about mock drafts, then I'll tell you what, I stand a chance of climbing over that wall that 92-year-old woman did, and it's never going to happen. So go for it. That to me is baloney. The Lions getting an F for a mock draft. Do you even realize what the draft process is really like? There's a guy that can go ahead and find talent anywhere. Whether it's an undrafted free agent or not, it doesn't make any difference. There will be a lot of hidden gems in this draft. One of my favorites will be Xavier Restrepo. I've mentioned that over and over. But how on the earth can the Athletic go out there and give the Lions an F grade? Goes beyond my wildest of imagination. And another parting shot, once again, goes out to the Detroit Free Press. if you think that Detroit is superiority over Green Bay by saying you had 770,000 versus Green Bay's 600,000, you're delirious. Okay. You really are delirious because Green Bay put on a good show. They really, really did. Detroit's a much bigger town. I don't know how you could go ahead and compare 107,000 versus a much bigger population than what Detroit has. Not even the book. So there's my two for the night. I want to thank Willie Epting for being on the broadcast tonight. Look forward to having JB Ellis on when he gets on here. Glad that we had the group we had. So with that said, George Eichhorn, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
You can find me on the South Florida Tribune website under the contributors section. And at the end of my column, there's always a link there to look at my book, Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air. Thank you, Candy, for showing the cover of it there. And Scott's in the book, I'm in the book, and a bunch of Hall of Famers in that book, including Bud Lynch and Ernie Harwell and Van Patrick and Ray Lane and George Blaha. So it's a good book. And you also can find me at gicorn@yahoo.com or on X Twitter at SandGSports99. And great to be on the show tonight. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Jacob, go ahead.
George, you'll sell many more books if you tell them that you were in the Red Wing suit.
Okay.
But
that would be a lie.
Well, I was on a Wes Pruitt show out of Memphis and slash Arkansas. I was on that at noon today. So I'm starting to get calls, and every once in a while, the gentleman named Ryan Neff out of Chicago, I get on his show also. So I'm starting to get more guest spots. I'm also getting some auditions for acting. So things are building back up again, and I'm slowly building my way back into the podcasting world and all that kind of thing. So, and then, yes, you're probably going to start. I mean, I know I've been saying it, but I'm getting some time. You're probably going to see some writing pretty soon from me.
I'll look forward to it. I always look forward to having you on every Wednesday night. It really is. I get challenged every week trying to come up with unique, different pundits topics, and you're the major reason why I do it.
And I do need to buzz out, so I will talk to you all day.
Oh, that's all right. Have a good night, Jacob. Thanks for being on.
Take care.
Appreciate you. You bet. All right, that leaves Pensman, and Candy will take us the rest of the way.
You can find me on X at Pensman Sports. You can find me on YouTube at Pensman Sports. I'm at 784 subscribers. Hit that red button. Help me get that 1,000 mark. I appreciate it. You can find me on Twitch, too, on Pensman Sports 07 also. So follow me over there, too.
Okay, Candy, take us the rest of the way, please.
The South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, and the foreword is written by George Eichhorn. This is a great book for young media people that want to learn about the business. Old school media versus new school media. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great other content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Monday nights, we talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights, you just never know what we're talking about. And Scott also does a one-on-one interview show called the Motor City Madmouth Show. He did one of those previous today, so just go check out that interview. As well as if you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott, 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest on a show or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. My one last parting shot, I want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day this weekend, and all the dads that act as moms. We love all of you. Go celebrate moms this weekend.
Great job, Candy. I thought the same thing. I'm sure everybody else did. So happy Mother's/Father's Day. Put a flat for great stuff. All right, well, we enjoyed our panel tonight. Jacob Krishner, Willie Epting came on. Candy, as usual. Pensman, George does a good job, and me. I'm just trying to make sure we don't screw it up. So with that said, I want to thank Steve Holman Sr. for being on the Motor City Madmouth Show earlier. And next week, just to give you an idea, what we have coming on for the early show, a lady by the name of Barbara Feller will be on next week on the South Florida Tribune podcast. She's a realtor locally that will give everybody, our viewers, an opportunity to find out what the real estate values here are in Florida, let alone South Florida. Well, looking forward to having her on. If she comes on, it'll be a good watch for y'all. So meanwhile, on behalf of Willie Epting, Jacob Christopher, Candy Ebling, Penguin Sports, George Eichhorn, my name is Scott Morgan, Motor City Madmouth, wishing you a very happy night, and we'll do another edition of the Sports Exchange tomorrow, talking hockey. That's the plan is anyway. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. And of course, Candy has her fire-up show from the Country Club as well with her group tomorrow. Hope you don't miss that one at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.